All right. Good morning. Happy Friday. Um, so originally my plan was to work on my blog for my website and just working through that layout stuff, accessibility, mobile, all that kind of stuff. You know what? It's been done before, and I may still do it because it's something I need to work on. But instead, um, I saw in the Facebook group for I think GenerateBlocks, someone was curious about how to. Okay, so I know everyone's probably seen this. So yeah, back to this. Um, so everyone's seen like a listing where when clicking through, instead of like getting a new page, that this additional information may open in an overlay or a modal window, a light box, whatever you want to call it. And since the new Generate Blocks beta is rolling this new stuff out, I thought, you know what? I wonder if we could kind of do that. And I think we can. I think so. I have an idea of how it could work, and I haven't tried this yet, but I thought I'd just kind of play with it. So I've installed the beta here, and by the way, if someone is curious, if someone else is running uh, WP Local on Windows 11 and it's slow, when I change the site domain, and the site has to be running, by the way, for you to change it. When I changed the domain from .local to .test, or I'm assuming whatever you prefer, it got a lot faster. So that fixed a lot of my performance stuff that I was having trouble with in previous videos and just working. So the overlay panels. So I'm not entirely familiar with everything about how it works. I'm going to play with it, and we'll just kind of do this together. Excuse me while I drink coffee. So let's see. We just want a standard overlay. This is the beta, so I would not use this for production. And I've watched Kyle over at the admin bar. I saw his demo and it was greatly helpful. But again, we're just going to kind of play here and see what we can come up with. So we're going to call this team info overlay and overlay panel options. We just want a standard display condition. I think we want it to click. We need a click trigger. And I think if I understand this right, custom events. What is, so that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, we want to click, and I think it's going to give us, or yeah, this data attribute, but it's content full width. Let's do full width. Let's see. Yeah, we're just going to jump in and play with some stuff. So, no. Let's just make a block. So we need a container, and we'll just leave it as a div for now. Let's give it a background of white. Let's give it some space, but nope, give it some spacing. And we'll just say, do I have my, did I have setting styles? I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember if no, I don't think I did. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I did a video with some spacing variables, but we're just gonna do rims. Because I have a bad tendency to get sidetracked and bogged down, and I don't want to do that. So let's see. Let's also round some corners, because just a modal with some rounded corners is just cool. Okay, let's publish this. Okay. Okay, now we have our overlay panel. Let's jump back over here. And I don't think I need any special conditions yet. Explain everywhere. Don't need any categories. Yep. Okay, so let's go back to elements, team archive template. Okay. So let's click on let's make sure we're clicked on. Nope. Yep, that's what I was worried about. This bio button. And I think we get some new options here. Advanced. There we go. Overlay panel trigger. Okay, so because, and you can add triggers from here. Create new. Oh, you can. No way. Man, that's crazy. Okay. So we're going to ditch the permalink and instead go for this team overlay. So it's going to add this data attribute. Wants to see text and image cognitive. Sure. Yeah, so this attribute that is going to be the trigger for opening up our overlay. So if I save this now and we go back to our archive, we get a little, oh, you know what? We need a, let's change that button type. Yeah, so we don't want an anchor anymore. We want a straight up button. And look at that, it changed the padding a little. That's odd. Maybe there's a different display property. So let's refresh that. Okay, yeah, now our cursor turns into a pointer again. Okay, so we get the modal, but there's not a dang thing in it. So here's my thought. I was thinking of team member single. How much of this do I want to grab? I'm not sure how well this will work, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to copy this. And here's my thought. So we're going to go back to this overlay panel and we're going to put in a new query loop to show everybody. Okay, let's start blank. And I'm just going to drop in this whole thing. Okay, so let's go back to our query. And no, yes, it is a post query, but not post. It is for team members. And let's just show everybody, which a -1 means don't filter it. Is that all I want to do? Is that don't inherit from template? Okay, so save. Now let's see. I don't know if it's going to scroll. I don't know how that's going to behave. It is stuck. Oh, we don't have a close button either. Okay, so this container, what that would be, what that's overflow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've completely blanked out there. Auto? It's X, right? X is up and down. No. X is, no. Wait, default. Auto. Okay, I think that's right. So X is horizontal, Y is vertical, right? Still not. Okay. So let's, yeah. Okay, so we need to go back to sizing. Is it opening up? Okay, so it's leaving a little bit of room on the sides. So let's do max width. Let's do percentages. Or no. Let's do 100%, but let's do width is 80 VW and height is 80 VH. Probably want a little more than that, maybe. Okay, well that give us what we want because we need, there we go. Okay, now we get everybody. Okay, not super happy about that layout, but hey, we're just kind of, yeah, because you get that scroll and our rounded corners are kind of borked right there. Okay, so this isn't necessarily a design lesson, but yeah, just follow along. Let's hang in there until we get to the end. Okay, so now we have the modal working. We do need some kind of, we need a close button. So position, let's say relative, and just like that. I'm going to Control-Alt-T to insert a new element at the top, and we're going to put in a button, and it's just going to be an icon with an X. Wait, what? We don't have just an X. Oh, menu toggles. Look at there. Of course we have. I didn't know that. That's groovy, man. Okay. See, do I have a button style? I have a button styles. Category button. Nope. What does that look like? Oh, that was for something else. Button, primary. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Icon by itself. And advanced. Nice. ARIA label. Close. I don't think I have to say close window. Okay, and then let's position absolute top one rim and right one rim. Again, it's not going to be the prettiest, but I think it'll get us where we want to be. Yep. Oh, it kind of, wait, can I tell it to be, is it fixed? Sticky? Fixed? Sticky? Why did it go away like that? You'd think that, oh, does fixed not respect its parent relative? Remove from the normal flow and position relative to the viewport. Oh, so it does not. Okay, so let's do sticky. What does that do? Huh. Wait, does it? Yeah, sticky. Okay, you know what? Then maybe let's do the fixed. And we'll do 2. And I know it's floating out here in the nether regions, but maybe we want it outside of the modal. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. And the escape key works too. Okay, so here's what we need to do. So we have a loop item. Okay, so I want block. Why is it? Okay, the interface is gone bonkers on me. I've lost my. What the heck, man? Okay. Or did I do something wrong? Did I It's like it lost the block context. Okay, so I want to apply some dynamic tags. Do I want to do it with a class name? I think I may. So I want a way to identify each one of these. And maybe it's through, what tags do I get? Permalink. Looper index, loop item. Loop item, what does that give me? I want the post slug. That would be great. I guess even the post ID might be great. Not the title. Loop item. Loop item, loop item. Let me see. I'm over here looking up the documentation because I don't know if you can get the slug through the tags yet or the ID, but maybe that's okay. We might be able to use. Oh, I think we can. Okay, hang on. We might be able to use the loop index. So loop item. They're a meta key. Oh! Guys, okay. So maybe post date, post content, post excerpt, post name, post title. Maybe that is it. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to cut that. We're going to add, let's see. Okay, so team dash. Okay, let's see what that gives us. Good old inspector. Team Han Solo. There we go. Team Princess Leia. Team Luke Skywalker. There's the post ID. Okay. GB loop item. You know what? We could move this to the ID. Okay, and then in our button from our template, we also need something that holds that same data. So let's do data. Team name. And we'll put put that same bit in there. I think that will get us what we want. Let's refresh that. And I might pause it for a minute because I have not written any of it. So we're going to use some JavaScript. Button. Team on solo, data team name. Pop-ups. Dialog. Okay. All right, expanded. Wow. So they've handled all of that accessibility stuff with ARIA controls. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so now my thought is we're going to keep this, but we're going to hide. We're going to set all of these to display none. And okay, loop item. Yeah, all the loop items. We're going to set all these to display none. What ID? Oh no. Oh, okay. I can fix that. It stripped out the curly brackets. And we're going to use our click reference to pass along a function that will then go through these items and find the match that we've requested and set it to display block or flex or whatever, just to be visible. And so you only get that one that you've referenced. That is my thought. And in doing so, we will have simulated the overlay info panel. And I don't think it'll be that much JavaScript. So let's go back to our overlay panel. I guess I could have done that from the, they gave me a way to do that from an overlay panel when I was editing the template. Okay, so that loop item, is that right? Or is it the container? There we go. Yep, see, let's strip that out. I don't know why you know what? I think I have to do it from here. And it will keep it. Is that right? Oh crap, what'd I do? Why is it taking long again? Okay. Are you serious? Oh. Supposed to be a pipe character there, I think. That is a problem. That, I guess I need to go open an issue on GitHub. I don't know. I'm sure they've got their hands full. There's all kinds of stuff they're working on. No, can you just not do it in the, it has to be a class? Team, loop item. Okay, hang on a second. Nope, it was me. It's not a pipe. It's just a space. That was my bad. That should do it. Wait. Okay. That, yes. Okay. So there are my IDs. Team Han Solo, Team Princess Leia. And there should be the data attribute for each corresponding button, Team Han Solo. Okay. So I'm going to pause it real quick and start the JavaScript for this. Oh, you know what? Let's team archive. So I'll probably need a special class for these buttons. I guess I could search by the data attribute. maybe I need to, okay, what to do? Data team name. Let's do data button. So short, data button team name. Yeah, okay. So I'll reference it that way. Okay, so I'm going to pause it now, start the JavaScript, and I'll be right back. All right. I don't remember where I left off, but I think I've just about got it. So I've added a little bit of JavaScript and updated a few class ID things. So now if I roll through, there's Han Solo, there's Princess Leia, and I don't know how this is going to work, but here's Luke, and that even works from a modal within a modal. So yeah, it kind of works. And so one thing I can't get working right, or I'm not sure if it's working right or not. I need to test it with a screen reader. So I don't know if you've ever used this accessibility view. You can get, let's see, that's a list. That's our list item. Yeah, so that's each of those. So as you can see, the modal's not showing, but if I click on Princess Leia, then this dialog comes up for modal. Okay, and it's showing her info. So now if I close her and open Han Solo, it still shows Princess Leia. I'm not sure if that's a glitch with this or if it's I just don't have it set up correctly. But what I'm doing is, let's see over here. So here are the loop items within the modal. So you can see they're all there, but like for example, Han Solo has a show class added and the aria hidden true has been removed. And if I close it, you can see that the show class is removed and aria hidden true pops back up. So the JavaScript. I guess the first thing I need to mention is, well, let's go through the JavaScript first. So I put this in my child theme. You can put it wherever you like, and I'm going to be OCD and put in my semicolons for ending there. So I have this big long JavaScript file with everything in it, and this has like past mega menu stuff and what is that? Oh, that's the gallery filters. Yeah. So I have this event listener for the window that when everything's loaded, run all these functions. So every one of these is contained within a function. So I made this do team info overlay function, semicolon. And so when the page loads, it's going to run all these functions and do all this stuff. So we're going to jump down to this function that I wrote. So this is really all you need. You can really just drop this function into, well, sorry, you'll need to call it. Yeah. So you'll need the function, and then you'll need to do this bit that calls it. You might be able to get away without the event listener, but I like having it just in case. So there you go. You need at least, like you could remove all that and just have that. And then you need the function, certainly. So when this function is called, first thing it's going to do is I'm going to grab all of these elements, and I'm getting the team buttons by querying for the data button team name, that attribute, where, if you remember or not, it feels like it's been so long. Data button team name. So here's that reference that we're using to show the correct bio or info within the modal. So it's fetching that. We're getting the team overlay itself, which I've added an ID to. That is, yeah, there's the, okay, so the thing directly within it, there it is. So team overlay. So it's within that modal, but there it is. So it already has an ID, that GB overlay 523, and that's probably the post ID if I had to guess. Back to the JavaScript. And then finally, the close button. I needed a reference to that because I want to watch for when it's clicked so I can reset everything within the modal. So I added an ID to the close button, which you can't see, it's way over here, but there that is. And that's strictly so I can reference it. So, and then just so we're not doing all this stuff needlessly if those elements aren't present, after fetching all these things, I'm checking for the first two, and I could check for three. I really could check for one, but I'm just checking for some things. If these things are not false or null or whatever, then just return, just bail out. Just stop running this function because this stuff isn't present. We don't need to do anything. But if it's not, it's going to keep going. So then I go and I grab the team list. So I look within the team overlay element that I've referenced up here, and I run a query selector to look for these class items. And all that's doing is looping through each one of these, and it's getting the elements so that I can use it down here. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to watch for clicks on the close button, and anytime it's clicked, it's going to loop through that team list and remove the show class and set or add back the aria hidden attribute. And so my styles, and this is my child style sheet, I just added these two classes. So the team overlay, GB loop item team, display none. So I'm not showing them by default. And then, but if it has this show class added to it, we're going to display block. So hide, show hide, that kind of thing. And you can probably do this through GenerateBlocks, through the global styles, but I just find this easier myself, personal preference. So that is the close function. And then here's the magic. So I'm going to loop through these team buttons and add an event listener to each one and say, okay, when one is clicked, let's set a value for the team name that is referenced. So that data set, and that's how so essentially it's looking for, or here, it's looking for this. It's just another way to do it without the query selector, because I want the value of that data set or that data attribute. So for example, if I click on Han Solo, it is going to go look at that data attribute, and it's snagging that value. So that's what that will contain. And the show team member, it is going and looking for elements by ID, because that data attribute value is the same as the ID of the team member we want to show. So I'll go back down here and look at, so these are the elements within the modal. So here's that ID for Team Han Solo, Team Princess Leia, Team Luke Skywalker. So we're using that button value to say, hey, now the show member element, or the show this member, which that's just a variable in JavaScript, I'm going and grabbing that and say, this is the one we want to show. Now let's do some stuff with it. So it's this show this member is now containing that element that we want to show. So we're going to add a class of show. So element, class list, add, show, and then element, remove attribute, aria hidden. I was doing set the attribute to aria hidden equals false, and I read somewhere that sometimes browsers don't get the false part of it, so you just remove it altogether. But again, when I'm using this, it's not really giving me the results I want. There's the modal. We get Princess Leia, but if I close it and open Luke, it still shows here as Princess Leia. So I'm not sure about that. I need to test this with a screen reader and just find out what's going on. But anyway, we're getting there. This is not bad. This is kind of cool. This opens some possibilities. I can see how this could be useful, especially if I can figure out how to make it accessible. The post I saw on Facebook was actually wanting to create a previous to next buttons. First of all, I think there could be a slight problem with that, and maybe even with this. One, if you do your team member bios this way, or any kind of detail view of a post, or custom post type, whatever it is, it becomes more difficult potentially for SEO, because you're kind of hiding your deeper information about whatever element you're trying to display. Of course, Google and search engines might be smart enough to follow through with this modal click and snag the information out of it. But also, let's say you want to share links of each of your team members. You could probably do this with a hash of some kind, like maybe it's Team Han Solo, but you'd have to, JavaScript it. Did I just? No, does that work? That doesn't work. Holy moly. That that can't be right. No, that is not right. Okay. What in the world? Did I spell that right? Princess Leia. No, what print? Yes, I did. What was that about? Okay, hang on. Did I just? Is that just a boo boo? Here's Luke. Han. Wait a minute. What is happening here? Oh, I know what's happening. I did the click. Oh, okay, I missed that. So I reset it by listening for that click, but I also need to be watching for the escape key and clicking on that overlay. So that is a problem and something that needs resolving, because right now it's only resetting those based on clicking that close button. Okay. So I guess a super quick fix for that would be to disable any other method of closing. Wait, do I do that from here? I do that from here. Okay. Where? Oh, overlay panel. So display conditions, show backdrop, close on escape key, close on click outside. And these are not that difficult to. So I think I'd have to just do a click on that overlay, but we're just going to disable that right now. So the only way you can close it is with the close button. So that'll take care of that part. That was weird. Yeah. So escape key won't work. Clicking on that, you have to do that. Okay. Ooh. Okay, and then Princess Leia. That didn't fix the accessibility problem, did it? I bet it didn't. That shouldn't have anything to do with that. So, Han Solo. Princess Leia. Nope, still showing Han Solo. Okay. So yeah, so where was I? So yeah, a URL. So that oh, I see what was happening. Yeah, okay. So you'd want some way of having a URL to that individual, I think. Ooh, that got messed up. So yeah, is that the only issue? And it just makes accessibility a little bit trickier because you're having to do all this modal change. Well, as you can see here, I'm having issues having the content of the modal change accordingly based on the selection. So it's not without its issues, but it is kind of cool, and we're getting there. This is a working demo, and that's going to go to that funky page. Okay, so we've got some things to work out. I wonder. Okay, lightsaber. If I click the back button, click Han Solo. Ah, yep. And that is yet another complication. So looks like there's a little bit more JavaScript to do. Man, and that. So anyway, I'm going to stop here and just say we're getting there. I think it's doable. You just have to account for all these scenarios that you may not be considering, and this is why this job can be tedious. That may be the best word for it. Tedious. The devil is in the details. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. Just showing some fun, cool stuff that we can potentially do with modals, the new overlays. I'm looking forward to playing with it some more and doing some neat stuff. Sorry again for the long video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. What's some other kind of stuff you'd like to see like this? I feel like this is kind of my little niche. The niche is this kind of different stuff. There are people out there doing certainly better videos than I am, but I feel like I can kind of fit in these weird places where we do not crazy stuff, but just some different things, unconventional, trying to solve problems in a different way, maybe where you have to add a little something extra here and there, like a little CSS or a little JavaScript or even a little PHP. So yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. Sorry, I cracked my knuckles right in the microphone. Yeah, y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thanks.